各位记者朋友，大家下午好。
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Questions, please.
谢发言人，东方卫视记者提问。那么我们关注到近年来呢，中国的风能发电量。
Over the past few years, China's wind and solar power generation has been on a rise. It is noted that according to a UK media report, China added as much nuclear energy generation in the first half of this year as the UK produced from all sources in the same period last year, and the rapid growth of China's renewable energy could be the world's best hope. What's your comment? Thanks to the thriving new energy sector, China is among the countries with the fastest energy intensity reduction in the world, and more importantly, has built the largest and most complete industrial chain of the new energy sector and provided the world with 70% PV components and 60% of wind power equipment. This gives a strong boost to global energy transition and green, low-carbon, and sustainable development. China's new energy products turbocharged the green transition in countries of the global south and significantly made life better for the local people there. Many clean energy projects are on their way by China in Africa, help more African countries to pursue green and low carbon development. Kenya's PV power plant will cut 64,000 tons of CO2 emissions every year, and Kenya's hydropower plant greatly eased electricity shortages in the local places. The third plenum stressed that it is significant to ramp up the green transition in all areas of economic and social development, prioritize ecological preservation, conserve resources, and use them efficiently, and pursue green and low-carbon development. While pursuing green development at home, China will also continue to contribute to addressing climate change and improving global environmental governance. It needs to be pointed out that some countries use overcapacity as a pretext to go after China's green industry, but it's not conducive to global response to climate change. What the world needs is not green barrier, but joint efforts for green transition. Next one, please.
Good afternoon. A question from
路透社。中方认为，菲律宾正在南海挑起冲突，尤其是在中业岛。外交部对此有何评论？
On the maritime disputes between China and the Philippines, we've stated China's position multiple times before. I'm not familiar with the report that you mentioned, but as of China's position, I'd refer you to previous answers that we've made in earlier press briefings.
实现持续的
Global Times, China's economy has continued to grow over the years, becoming an important driver of global economy and offering other countries with development opportunities. However, we noted that recently, some believed that as the Chinese economy is set to stagnate, countries that gained profits by riding China's rise may now be at risks. What's your comment on this? Over the past few years, China has been among the fastest growing major economies in the world and contributing around 30% of global growth. It has become the major trading partner of over 140 countries and regions. This year, China's economy remains on a generally steady, sound, and upward trajectory. The third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China put forward over 300 reform measures, which charted the course for the sustained and sound growth of China's economy and sent a clear message of expanding high-standard opening up and advancing high-quality development. China will further ease market access, take proactive efforts to further open up, and unilaterally open our doors wider to the least developed countries, so as to make the pie bigger and the list of cooperation longer, and promote the opening up of the world through our own opening up. We will continue taking active efforts to support developing countries' capacity building through international development cooperation. We will help fellow developing countries foster the capability for self-driven development and contribute to the common development of the world through our own development. With a mega-sized market, full-fledged industrial system, and a sound business environment, China will maintain sustained growth and provide greater dynamism for the world economy. We stand ready to work with all parties parties to jointly build a modernized world that enjoys peaceful development, mutually beneficial cooperation, and common prosperity. Next one, please.
Reuters again.
路透社，是否中方已经邀请了与台湾保持外交关系的斯威士兰参加中非合作论坛？
邀请
On the invitation that we made to two countries to participate in FOCAC summit, we will release information in a timely manner. I want to stress that the One China principle is the international consensus and the political foundation that China established diplomatic ties with 183 countries. We hope that a handful of countries who are still maintain diplomatic ties with Taiwan can make the right decision at an early date that serves its own interests. Next one, please.
Just to follow up on
追问关于中非合作论坛的问题。今天上午，我问外交部副部长关于猴痘的问题。猴痘在世界卫生社区内已经成为一个主要的议题。我想问，猴痘对中非合作论坛的影响是什么？是否有任何的措施和计划？之前的措施主要关于新冠，那么现在我想问一下关于猴痘的措施。
这个中非合
So far, the preparation work of FOCAC summit is well underway. We will closely follow the situation and developments and make the FOCAC summit a full success. Next one, please.
Thank you. Question from TV Tokyo.
共同社，明天是一周年以前，日本政府开始启动福岛核电站处理水排海。日方一直在呼吁中方停止从日本进口的水产品禁令。那么双方在这方面的谈判是否取得了进展？
在没有
Without full consultation with neighboring countries, Japan unilaterally started the ocean discharge of Fukushima nuclear contaminated water and shifted risks to the whole world. Such practice violates its own commitments and is highly irresponsible. It is not in line with international law and the principle of interacting with neighbors. China firmly opposes it and has lodged concerns to Japan multiple times before. It is legitimate, reasonable, and necessary for countries, including China, to take preventative and response measures to safeguard food safety and the health of the people. The two sides, China, Japan, the two sides are in consultation on the ocean discharge issue. I want to stress that more transparency and openness from the Japan side can help ease the concerns of the international community. We urge Japan once again to respond to domestic and foreign concerns, fulfill its own responsibilities and obligations, and show full collaboration to set up an independent, effective, long-term international monitoring arrangement with the substantive participation of neighboring countries, including stakeholders.
据报道
Kyodo News, it's reported that Taiwan's Foreign Affairs Chief Lin Jialong and the Secretary General of Taiwan's Security Council, Joseph Wu, will arrive in Washington this week for meetings with senior U.S. officials. This is the first senior Taiwan officials visit to the U.S. since letting this taking into office. What's your comment?
First of all, there's no so-called president in Taiwan. And on your specific question, China firmly opposes any forms of official interactions between the U.S. and Taiwan. This position is consistent and clear. We urge the U.S. to abide by the One China principle and three China-U.S. general communiques, deliver on the commitments made by U.S. leaders on the issues related to Taiwan, handle the Taiwan-related issues with utmost prudence, stop official interactions between the U.S. and Taiwan, stop upgrading its substantive exchanges with the region, and stop conniving at and supporting Taiwan independent separatist activities in any form. Next one, please.
Thank you. Question from AFP.
法新社昨天菲律宾媒体公布了一个视频，显示中方飞机向日方发射照明弹，这是发生在昨天。那么你是否能对该事件予以确认？
一下你的问题吗？
Can you please repeat your question, please?
法新社菲律宾媒体昨天公布了视频，认为中方的飞机向菲律宾的飞机发射了闪光弹。你能否确认此事发生了？你对此事的评论是什么？
你提到的情况，
I'm not familiar with the specifics. I will take that back after the press conference.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
韩国新闻说提问。
News One Korea, August 24 marks the 32nd anniversary of ROK-China diplomatic relations. What's your view on the developments of ROK-China relations? Are there any plans for commemorative events?
重要的
China and the ROK are close neighbors and each other's important cooperation partners. Since our diplomatic ties were established more than 30 years ago, our two countries enjoyed close exchanges and cooperation across the board, with fruitful results and strategic cooperative partnership. The friendly and cooperative ties between our two countries serves the interests of both countries and contribute to regional development and prosperity. China is ready to work with the ROK to deliver on the important common understandings between the leaders of the two countries. Stay true to the original aspiration when we establish diplomatic ties, pursue friendship, and deepen cooperation for sustained, sound, and steady growth of bilateral ties. Next one, please.
Another question from AFP.
法新社哈里斯正式接受了美国总统候选提名，中方对此有何评论？
做评论。
The general election is the U.S. internal affairs. I will not comment on that. Anything else?
Thank you. Another question from AFP.
法新社泰国昨天确认亚洲第一例猴痘病例，中方采取了哪些措施？中方是否采取新的措施来防止猴痘的流行？
中方的主管部门。
I would refer you to competent authorities for the specifics. Next one, please.
如果没有其他问题的话，今
If there's no other questions, then let's call it a day. Have a happy weekend.